Baron Münchhausen is a fictional German nobleman who tells his almost impossible achievements as a sportsman, soldier and traveler, for instance riding on a cannonball. It seems that the Rheinmetall Borsig company wanted to create something similar. The company had begun to design the Sondergerät or Special Device 104 gun before the war in early 1939. It was a large gun intended to be carried by an aircraft for use against fortified bunkers and naval targets. The combination was a kind of an air battleship. As shown in the illustration, this recoilless weapon was to have been mounted beneath the Dornier DO-217 bomber. A huge 12-meter rifled gun barrel was located on the external suspension under the fuselage of the aircraft. 700 kg of projectile was loaded into the barrel, the length of which was 1.2 meters, containing 35 kg of explosive, then 70 kg of accelerating charge of smoke powder, and the whole system was closed by 700 kg of a counterweight located on the breech. Due to the weight of the shell and the counterweight, reloading in flight was not possible. According to the designer's concept, during the shot, the charge accelerated the projectile to an initial speed of 280 meters per second, and the counterbalance flying out of the breech in the opposite direction compensated for the return. The mass of the loaded gun was 4,200 kilograms. The estimated speed of the projectile in flight was about 125 meters per second, which was clearly not enough for shooting at a long distance. So the developers formulated a certain tactic for using the weapon. The plane was supposed to launch an attack at high altitude, after which it would enter a steep peak at an angle of 50 to 80 degrees and fire a shot from a height between 6,000 and 2,000 meters. But, as usual, this worked only on paper. Tests of the experimental installation were carried out in October of 1940, for which the trunk of the experimental installation was placed on a wheeled trolley mounted on rails, and the nose and tail of the Dornier DO-217 bomber were mounted on top of it, which was important for assessing the potential impact of muzzle gases on an airplane glider. In this case, the charge mass was reduced. However, when fired, the tail of the aircraft was seriously damaged. In addition to the direct effect of the gas jet, an additional wave was reflected on it, reflecting from the ground. Tests continued until the middle of 1941, during which 14 shots were fired from 3 different manufactured SG104 guns. The designers experimented with the mass of the charge, the angles of installation of the barrel, but it did not achieve satisfactory results. The Luftwaffe had ordered several examples of the Gerät 104 in 1939, intended to be retracted hydraulically into the ventral fuselage of the bomber. The installation of an additional 110 kg of extra strengthening to the Dornier airframe was never carried out before the weapon project was cancelled in late 1941. Missile weapons, actively developed in Germany, promised significantly greater prospects for the development. The Gerät 104, however, did serve as a useful forerunner for smaller and lighter weapons working on the same principle.